quick, wake up. We gotta go. Work time. Come on.
Oh my gosh. I could have swore I was driving a tank in World War II. I'm not kidding you. Ever since I was a little guy, I always loved those movies about the Second World War. I was in awe of the machinery and the scale of the destruction. My favorite had to be the tanks. They seemed indestructible. How cool would it be to actually be driving one of those behemoths? Well, I guess Walt Disney was right, and wishes do come true. Welcome to Drive a Tank in Kasota, Minnesota.
Our Drive a Tank experiences are just that. They're a complete experience. We'll run you through safety, basic safety around the vehicles, and then we start out with a history briefing that's usually about a half-hour long, and that's where you're going to learn about what tanks really are.
You got shirts, you got all kinds of stuff for sale here. You got quite an operation. I'm impressed.
Thank you.
Before getting into one of the green monsters, Tony likes to give a brief military history lesson.
You know, it's key that most people don't understand that the reason we have tanks is because of the machine gun. It's that Maxim machine gun that caused the trench stalemates of World War I. Essentially what happened is the Germans had hundreds of these guns firing from a trench, and the Allies just couldn't get across that trench. There was nothing we could do. Our soldiers were very vulnerable to the machine gun fire. So eventually a British man came up with an ingenious idea to mount a metal box on tracks. They could just drive right past these machine guns.
A moving fortress.
You got it.
Wow. And just like that, I was ready to fire a machine gun, Rambo style.
You've got sights across the top, notch, spike in the notch, hold here, triggers underneath, your extra hand goes over the top. Yep, you got it.
And I'm aiming for that target.
So Greg, what'd you think?
Well, I thought that was pretty impressive. Just to feel the power of the machine gun and know that, I mean, the rounds are flying through that, the barrel. I mean, you had to invent a tank, right?
Exactly. Now you can see the necessity of the tank, why it's so important to have a big metal box that can just drive right past submachine gun bullets.
And now Tony felt I was ready for the big stuff. This is an amazing display of power right here that you have in this garage, I'll call it. Tell me about all these tanks here.
Well, we've got a fair amount of different vehicles. We've got our Abbotts that we use for a lot of our driving. That's kind of the backbone of our fleet. This Chieftain Mark 11 on the end is one of very few in private hands, and that one was actually used to make the movie Reign of Fire.
Oh, wow, really?
Matthew McConaughey and Christian Bale. Larry's our star car crusher. He crushes the majority of the cars on the property.
Nice.
Our M4 Sherman is the only one operating to the public right now, for the only tank that you can actually get in, touch, feel, and drive in the world. And on the end, last but not least, is our Russian counterpart, the T-55.
He looks mean.
Yeah.
Where in the world do you accumulate all these tanks, all this military equipment?
Well, there really is no tank store or military vehicle store in general. It all comes from different places. Sometimes it is a surplus dealer or people that may manufacture reproduction items, but most of the real key pieces come from individuals, collectors around the country. It's not stuff that really comes up for sale. You kind of got to just know everybody. It's a pretty small crowd, the tank guy crowd. But we all keep together, communicate well, and if somebody wants to sell something, they'll let you know. And it's all just one at a time, no different than you might accumulate any kind of other rare antique.
It was now time to board the 84,000-pound Sherman. John Wayne, move over.
Well, mount up.
You've never seen a guy so gangly before in your life. Watch how awkward I am. Well, that's actually, hey, I'm doing better than I thought I'd do. Okay. Well, this is definitely a first for me, Tony. Oh, if this leg, get in there. Okay, Tony, we're in here, and to say that it's tight is like a huge understatement. I mean, we're packed in here.
Well, actually, a lot of the troops love the Sherman tanks because they were so spacious compared to other models like the Russian tanks.
You're telling me this is spacious?
This is a spacious tank.
Really?
That's right.
So how many crew could be in this?
Sherman tank would operate with a crew of 5, driver and assistant driver up front in the hull, gunner, commander, and loader in the turret.
So, and then also, this seat, this is kind of the driving position, correct?
Well, that's for driving when you're not in combat, when you're in a road march. You can have your head out, you can see things going on, get a little air.
You don't want your head poking
No,
out.
your seat goes down to the floor, your hatch comes closed, and you drive from inside.
But this is the driving position, and you're going to show me how to do this. How do I drive this thing?
Well, it's very easy. First thing we'll have you do is grab the master switch on your left by your left shoulder. Okay.
Another one?
Now hit the right one. Nice and easy.
We're moving. We're moving.
And we're off.
Oh my goodness. I can't believe I'm driving a tank, Tony. Look at me!
And you thought it'd be difficult?
It's really not that hard. Okay, but I haven't steered yet is the problem.
Well, pull your right lever.
Okay, I'm pulling right lever. There's a stick.
Pull hard. There's no power steering. There you go. That's taking you left.
All right.
And there's your throttle.
Now if I go left a little bit by pulling the left stick. So you're saying the fastest that we can go is about 25 miles an hour.
That's right.
Okay.
You gotta remember this baby was made in 1945, and back then, that was pretty fast for an 84,000 pound.
Yeah, 84,000 pounds. That's
That's right, these Easy-8s are up armor, they've got a bigger gun, bigger tracks.
Now keep in mind that this is a 70-plus-year-old technology, and there are very few of these left still running in the world. So what happens if she breaks down?
When a tank breaks down after an event day, if we have an event day following, basically my crew, we get together, we do what we need to do to keep them running. We stay up all night to get it back running for the next event. I warehouse a lot of parts. I probably have the largest inventory of military vehicle parts in the country. We've got a lot of pieces to keep everything running, and if we can't buy it, inventory it, we manufacture it, do what we have to do, find a replacement, find something close, modify it, change it, do something, but we always keep our vehicles running for the customers.
What's amazing is that, you know, obviously these tanks are formidable, but you're kind of a sitting duck too.
Well, that's why they call them death traps. Actually, the soldiers would prefer to be on the ground. At least when you're on the ground, you can hide.
Yeah, there's no hiding in this thing.
There's no hiding in it, and there's no hiding in it.
The M4 Sherman tank was used throughout World War II in Sicily, Italy, and Western Europe, along with the Pacific Theater. A total of 49,324 were produced in 11 plants between 1942 and 1946. It was a true honor to actually drive one of these amazing machines, thanks to Drive a Tank. However, my tank experience was not quite finished. Tony had a special surprise with his favorite tank, Larry. So this is great. We're gonna take that tank and drive over this beater.
Well, we like to be able to show people all the different angles of destruction that a tank can provide, and yes, our car crushing is one of them.
Here we go, Tony. How's that speed?
That'll work. Let's get ready to and stop.
Woo! I'm liking that. Holy Hot Wheels, Batman. That was a real can crusher. Let's see that one more time. That tank made this car look like it was made by Mattel. Yep, the enormous power of the tank is simply amazing and can be experienced firsthand at Drive a Tank. If it's not on your bucket list, add it now. As for me, to heck with the PlayStation, I can now say I drove a Sherman for real, and now my dream of being a tank commander in General Patton's army will just be a bit more real. Life to the Max will be right back. Don't touch that dial.
Life to the Max is brought to you by LifeTouch, photography for a lifetime.